Good evening, family. Happy Monday to you. Praying that you're doing well and that God is keeping you as He's keeping me. It is More Word Monday here with you again. We know that yesterday was Mother's Day. We're praying that God's blessings was with all of our mothers. Know that on Mother's Day, for many of us who have lost our mother, is bittersweet, but we do give God praise for our mother. And I think that alone is a praise break. So since we're keeping with that theme to walk you in this week, that's the praise break too. The praise break is going to be all about mother, all about moms on today. And I got a text that just takes us right there because you got to know that everything that we celebrate about mom is also celebrated in the Bible. And so we're going to stay right there in that pocket. So praying that you're doing well and that God is continuing to keep you just like He's keeping me. And um, without any further delay, let's jump in. Let's jump in. If you have your Bible, I'd like you to open up to the book of John in the Synoptic Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke. Uh, Actually, John is not a part of the Synoptic Gospels, but jump into Matthew to the book of John, as although it is keeping with the same themes. John, the second chapter, and we'll go through the first through the 11th verse. John chapter 2, 1 through 11. And let me put it on the screen so that you have it. John, the second chapter, beginning at the first verse, you will find these words. The next day, there was a wedding celebration in the village of Cana in Galilee. Jesus' mother was there, and Jesus and his disciples were also invited to the celebration. The wine supply ran out during the festivities. So Jesus' mother told him, "They have no more wine." "Dear woman, that's not our problem," Jesus replied. "My time has not yet come." But his mother told the servants, "Do whatever he tells you." Stand by nearby were 6 stone water jars used for Jewish ceremonial washings. Each could hold 20 to 30 gallons. Jesus told the servants, "Fill the jars with water." Then the jars had been filled. He said, "Now dip some out and take it to the master of the ceremonies." So the servants followed his instructions. When the master of ceremonies tasted the water, that was now wine, not knowing where it come from, though of course the servants knew, he called the bridegroom over. "A host always serves the best wine first," he said. "Then, when everyone has had a lot to drink, he brings out the less expensive wine. But you have kept the best until now." This miraculous sign at Cana in Galilee was the first time Jesus revealed his glory, and his disciples believed in him. That is God's word for God's people, shall stand even after time is no more. Blessed and will always be blessed. For a few moments, and let me make sure you all have the ability to chat and put it in the chat, and I will respond. For a few moments, let's talk to this subject. Mother, may I? Mother, may I? One of the first games we learned to play growing up, whether in the neighborhood or at school, was a game called Mother, May I? It was a game that was based on that question. In the game, one person was chosen to be mother, and uh, the other players in the game were the children. This was a game where you learned the life skill of asking for permission. Let me pause right there because we have fallen a long way away because people no longer know the skill of asking for permission. Folk just do what they feel. But in those days, our games had life meanings. We learned how to ask for permission, and we learned that when you didn't ask for permission, that things could happen or not happen in your favor and set you back simply because you acted without permission. Oh, that's the first lesson that we can learn right there. And so in Mother May I, the rules were that if mother was at one end of the room, that the children had to ask permission to move forward. And mother would say that you may or you may not move. The person asking the question, uh, could they move, or Mother May I, could take 3 steps, 3 hops, or 3 jumps forward. And the skill came in on if you got permission from mother, if you were athletic enough to cover a large distance to be able to get to her first by how many steps you could take, then you got to be the new mother. But if you should happen to forget to say, Mother May I, and you start stepping without getting permission, then you had to go back to the beginning of the game. This was the game. Yeah. I had to remember to get mother's permission to go forward. And I'm learning in the process that getting to victory requires obedience to mother's wishes. Yeah. And I think all of us learned that if we were obedient to mother, if we did what she asked us to do, if we heeded her instructions, the benefits for us always bode well. But always, if we just moved without acknowledging her, or moved without getting her permission, or moved without her knowing what we were doing, somehow, some way, like mama knew, there'd be some setbacks for us. Yeah. And I wish that this was the first place in history where this was demonstrated, us in the neighborhood and at schoolyard playing Mother May I, but it's not. Over 2,000 years ago, at this wedding in Cana, there was one that honored the obedience of his mother, one that moved when she gave permission, one that did not say it out loud. And as a matter of fact, Jesus didn't even want to play the game. But yet, as he knew, he had a lesson to teach you and I in honoring our mother's wishes that that negates his internal feelings about the matter in question. Jesus works a miracle at his mother's request. What an example for us to remember this week on Mother's Day, that remembering getting permission from mama mattered. What an example. Most of us should be proud that we listen to mama's wishes. If you have your mother, you can say thank you to her vocally for what she's done for you. And if you don't have your mother, you can look to the sky like many of us and say thank you in regards to the many life lessons where you need to hear her voice. You could still hear her and say, Mother May I. And I bet you she can hear you, and her leadership in your mind is telling you whether to stop or go even now. And that shouts me, Mother May I. Still hear my mother's words, still hear my grandmother's words, still hear the words of those mothers who instilled so much in me that are no longer here. I still hear their voices. I still can hear them telling me whether or not I'm in the right place or not. And so, in this text, I find it interesting that Jesus' first miracle was at the request of his mother. Jesus. He heard the requester. So these are things that happens in the text. He heard the request. Mama says they're out of wine. That's the situation. They're out of wine today. And I wonder how many of us are still running out of something today. Maybe you're not running out of wine, but you're running out of patience. You're running out of peace. You're running out of joy. You're running out of something that you should have that can sustain you, that can refresh you. People are still running out of day, running out of patience, running out of time every day. And we still need to heed the words like mother, to know and have enough sense to know who we're working with in Jesus that can still move on our behalf. Many of us are still running out today. So Jesus hears, what an example. Here's the request of his mother. First thing. Second thing, Jesus begins to break the rules. Yeah, rules are sometimes broken for mama. Yeah, we've got to be obedient to mom. So sometimes we will bring the rules because doing what is important for mom and because of who mom is to us is very important. And so in this text, Jesus says, it's not my time yet. My time has not yet come for me to do anything that I'm sent down here to do. And you want me to do something at this wedding for these people, and it's not my time? And Mary's next thing that she does, because she knows who her son is, she knew what kind of power he has. She didn't go back to him again. She goes straight to the servants and says, do what he says. Mama knew who she was. And I saluted, our mothers knew everything about us. She knew the ins and outs. Your mom knows things about you that you don't know about yourself. Mama always kind of knew some things about me. Now, there were some things that she got wrong. Yeah, mama didn't know everything. But there were so many things that she got right about me. My grandmother, many things that she knew about me, knew my temperaments because they watched us grow. They watched us when at times where we were off thinking that we're playing by ourselves, they were taking note of our mannerisms. And I wonder, did Mary see Jesus performing small miracles as a baby that weren't documented? Did she see that he had supernatural power even before it was his time to do anything? Did she know? Certainly, she knew about his deity. She knew that he was God in the form of man. She knew that he was the miracle through God that came through her, but she had to see something. She had to see that he had some kind of skill. And so she didn't bother with Jesus after he said, my time has not yet come. She went straight to the servants. Do what he says. She asked no questions. She had no doubts. Do whatever he says. And the servants obey Jesus' command and they start to pour. And I wonder, even if your mother is with you, you need to know that mama believes in you. Yeah, that's what I need to tell somebody. Somebody who struggles this Mother's Day. Maybe you've lost your mother recently and you're struggling, but you need to know that mama believes in you. Yeah, I can tell you the truth that if nobody else ever believed in you, mama always did. When nobody else thought you can be something, mama always did. When nobody else thought or saw your dream, mama would believe in that. Just got through watching Michael, the movie. Katherine Jackson always knew that her son was special. She saw him dancing in the corner. She saw some skill in him that might have seemed small to everybody else. Everybody overlooked it, but mama seems to see what nobody else can see. And I believe Mary in the text shows us she knew something about Jesus that nobody else knew yet. She knew even though it wasn't ready to be on display. She said, my son could do a little something to help this thing out. They out of wine and they need filling. And my son has power. And I believe that every time mama and grandmama prayed over us, she knew that Jesus could do a little something. I feel my shout coming on. And she knew that he could do a little something for us. She knew that he could have the ability to help us take something that was empty and fill us up with something that can give us more power, give us sustenance. She knew. So Mary knew that Jesus could do it. And so Jesus broke all the rules for his mother. What an example. Now we know what happens next. The third thing is Jesus works a miracle for his mother. He used a different source than what originally came. He uses a water pot. Yeah, he uses the water pots that were used for ceremonial washings to demonstrate that I'll do it, but I'll only do it through things that show my divinity, that prove my power. So I'll take this thing that's supposed to be used for purity and blessing, and I'll show you God's power through that. I can't bless you the same way, through the same ways that everybody else does. I got to go another avenue. And that's a message for somebody. God's going to always show you through another avenue that you least expect that this is me doing the miracle. Yeah, talked about calling cards last week. The fact that he uses these ceremonial pots is a calling card. I'm not going to put you back in the wineskin that you just ran out of. I'm going to use something different to show you who I am. And normally, the fermentation process of wine, yeah, takes a lot of time. But for God, took no time. A better product than whatever was served before was made at the request of his mother. Fourth thing, and I'm almost to a close. Mama knew that she was worth it. Yeah. When we get older and we follow the instructions of mother and we begin to perform in life the way she knows. Mama knew what he's doing for me, I'm worth it. And that's a shout. There are still moms that are worth it. There are still moms that believed in their children. And there are children that still believe in their mama. And they know that she is worth it. Yeah, a mother that's worth it because of all the sacrifices that mamas make. Yeah, all the pain that mamas had to go through, all the worry that we've put on our mothers. Mama knew she was worth it. Mary knew that for all she had done for Jesus, Jesus was going to honor her. What a lesson for us through Jesus and through his mother. And so, Mama May I is a good question for today because we still need to ask ourselves, do we have her permission? Are we walking in the direction that mother is at the finish line? Or are we stagnant because we're walking through life without getting permission from God or from her on the steps that we should take? So as I come to a close, there was a teenager who didn't want to be seen in public with her mother because her mother's arms were terribly disfigured. One day when her mother took her shopping, she reached out her hand and a clerk looked horrified. Later on, crying, the girl told her how embarrassed she was of her mother's arm. Understandably hurt, the mother waited about an hour before going into her daughter's room after they got back home. And for the first time, she wanted to talk to her about what may have happened. She says, "When you were a baby, I woke up to a burning house. Your room was an inferno. Flames were everywhere. I could have gotten out the front door, but I decided I'd rather die with you than leave you to die alone. I ran through the fire, wrapped my arms around you. Then I went back through the flames with my arms on fire. When I got outside on the lawn, the pain was agonizing. But when I looked at you, all I can do was rejoice that the flames hadn't touched you." You don't feel my shout, but it's coming. Stunned, the little girl looked at her mother through new eyes, realizing the sacrifice that was made for her. Weeping in shame and gratitude, she kissed her mother's marred hands and arms. In the game, Mother May I, she would be wrong for not asking for permission to move and kiss her mother's scars. But in the game of life, she was right, because without those scars, she would not know how much her mother loved her and did all she could to save her life or her sacrifice. And family, all I want to close with, our shout is a mother's love. Mothers, may I. Mother, may I. Mother, may I tell you thank you. Mother, may I tell you how much I love you. Mother, may I tell you that you are the best thing. Mother, may I tell you that you did everything you could for me and I'm grateful. May somebody tell their mother what she means to them. And Father, may I give you praise for making my mother. Yeah, somebody should be saying, Mother, may I, for all of the sacrifice that she's made, for all of the pain she had to go through in giving birth to us. Mothers have value. And you should go into this week honoring your mother, not just on Mother's Day, but you should honor your mother every day, trying to do the things that would make her proud, doing the things that would make her happy, showing the love that she's been giving you. And maybe you didn't have the best mother all the time. Certainly, many of us have that testimony as well. But I can testify for the many sacrifices that I know my mother did make, for the many ways that I know she did try to provide the very best for her children. You ought to give God praise for that. And if nothing more, you should give God praise that your mother birthed you, that you weren't abandoned, that you weren't left. And maybe she abandoned you. Maybe you got to give praise to somebody else who God sent along to do the part of what a mother couldn't do. He sent them your way to help you be a mother. See, sometimes mothers aren't always our blood. Yeah, mama could be auntie. Mama could be grandma. Mama could be somebody that God gave, a neighbor that took you in, or whoever it is. That's who you should be celebrating. Just like Jesus had that honor for his mother, so should we have honor for our mother figures. And so, for more of the ministry, I'm praying that all of you honor your mothers as you should, and we give God praise for our mothers. If you're empty today, Jesus can fill you if you ask him. He died because you are worth it. Trust him alone for eternal life. And just listen to his mother's words to him. Do whatever he says. Family, many of us are still learning and trying to do whatever Jesus says. And that's our life. We live each day trying to do what he says. Mother, may I, is what we all should be trying to do. Whatever we can for our mothers, the way Jesus did, so that we can move forward toward the finish line. My shout is, some glad morning, when this life is over, those of us who have lost our mothers and grandmothers, we'll see them again. And that is a blessing and a shout in itself. God bless you. Take that into this week. You know that I love you and there's nothing that you can do about it. And we'll talk again real soon. God bless you.